Congratulations. Today's your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. These words are truly inspiring. For the man who wrote them, they did not seem to ring true. When Theodore Geisel was a little boy, he loved to draw. But in high school, Ted's own art teacher told him he might as well stop drawing. His college friends named him least likely to succeed, and after college, he returned home jobless. So why am I even up here speaking about a man who never amounted to anything? Because he did. Ted went on to become one of the most successful and beloved children's authors of all time. His full name was actually Theodore Seuss Geisel, better known as Dr. Seuss. Today, I will show you how determination and perseverance enabled Dr. Seuss to impact the world around him. Through his books, Ted taught children to read, urged them to use their imaginations, and encouraged them to incorporate strong morals into their lives. First, we will take a brief look at the highlights of Ted's earlier career, and then explore 4 of his most well-known books. So let's get started. We all know the name Dr. Seuss when we hear it, but why exactly is it Dr. Seuss we recognize and not Theodore Geisel? The reason is that he was stating his full name for the glorious day when he would write the great American novel, which of course he never wrote. Ted worked through years of hardship and delay, including the deaths of close family members and his own significant health struggles. It would be many years before Dr. Seuss would write anything. In fact, he started off in advertising for Flit insecticide and remained there for 17 years. Eventually, he did start making a living by writing, but spent part of his time drawing political wartime cartoons and a substantial part of his life working on movies. While in the film business, Ted worked closely with Frank Capra on wartime films in the Why We Fight series and produced several documentaries. Finally, Dr. Seuss wrote his first story, an ABC book. Every publisher he approached rejected it. However, Dr. Seuss was determined to be a children's author, so he did not stop trying. Once, when he was traveling on a ship, he had to go below because of a terrible storm. In the bottom of the ship, Dr. Seuss began writing out words to the monotonous beat of the engines, and that's where his classic rhyming style began. Dum dum ch, dum dum ch, dum dum ch, dum dum ch. And to think that I saw it on Mulberry Street. 27 publishers originally rejected this book before it finally came out in 1937. It quickly sold 10,000 copies for $1 a piece. Now let's take a look at some of Dr. Seuss's most famous books and the themes that make them unique. Almost everybody knows the cat. The Cat in the Hat, who made such a stir in that quiet house on a rainy day. In 1957, The Cat in the Hat was published. After working for 2 long years on this book, which he derived from a list of just 225 easy-to-read words, Dr. Seuss finally came out with his idea of a beginner reader's book. Not surprisingly, Dr. Seuss's deepest conviction was to put an end to illiteracy. Though it failed to become a standard reader in the classroom, The Cat in the Hat entered many homes very quickly and became one there. Still another amazingly popular book by Dr. Seuss came out in 1957. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is a heartwarming Christmas story. Ted quickly wrote The Grinch in several weeks, but then he came to the ending. Here he struggled for months, trying countless ideas. He wanted it to be just right. This was because he wanted to instill in a child that Christmas is more about the people we love than the gifts we receive. In teaching this, Dr. Seuss uses the Grinch, an ugly, hard-hearted green creature who he transforms over the course of the story. In the book, the Grinch comes to the conclusion that Christmas must be stopped once and for all. So he slyly sneaks in each house on Christmas Eve and steals everything that has anything to do with Christmas. The next morning, just as he is about to destroy it all, he hears the host singing, despite having no presents. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. That under Dr. Seuss stressed literacy and the meaning of Christmas, he incorporated themes of courage and loyalty into many of his books. Ted wrote to teach these traits, even amidst sitting an elephant on a tree. Of course, not many elephants are professional egg hatchers, but to teach about faithfulness and determination, Dr. Seuss used just such an elephant. Horton Hatched the Egg, published in 1940, is a story of how a whiny bird named Maisie talks a naive elephant named Horton into sitting on her egg for a while. The elephant consents and soon goes through many hardships, including a life and death situation to protect the egg. And through it all, he continues to say,
I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. An elephant's faithful 100%.
When Maisie, having decided to desert her nest, unintentionally meets up with Horton, the egg happens to hatch. In the end, Horton is rewarded for his faithfulness with a baby elephant bird, the Lorax, a small creature who cares for the truffula trees, the swami swans, the hummingfish, and the barbaloos, is unpleasantly surprised when a creepy green creature, the oncer, comes to his land and starts chopping down trees. Eventually, because of the pollution in the air, water, and lack of food from the trees, the Lorax has to send all the creatures away. The time comes when he himself has to flee. He leaves behind a small pile of rocks, bearing the word, unless. Unless you're like you, cares a whole awful lot. Nothing's going to get better. It's not. The meaning of this book is very clear. Caring for our environment and being good stewards of the earth God has given us is extremely important. This was Dr. Seuss's favorite book, and also one of his many powerful stories that deals with serious political issues. Other books in the same genre address the arms race in the Cold War, Hitler's tyranny, and racial discrimination. As we can see, many of Dr. Seuss's books convey a strong moral or political message. Over the course of his long and successful career, Dr. Seuss won 3 Academy Awards, 2 Emmy Awards, and a special Pulitzer Prize. He wrote 50 books, which together sold over 200 million copies. Eventually, though, the throat cancer that Ted had battled so well overtook him, and he died on September 24th, 1991, at the age of 87. Before his death, he wrote, "How did it get so late, so soon? It's night before it's afternoon. December's here before it's June. My goodness, how the time has flown. How did it get so late, so soon?" His illustrations and rhyme seem like they come from the imagination of a child. There is something fantastic about Ted's books that have enamored children for years. Maybe it's the optimistic, carefree way of thinking, or the goofy, nonsensical rhyme, or just the timeless, animated drawings. I still read his books myself, despite the morals or political views he was teaching, or just enjoying the intriguing pictures. When Ted was in his early 20s, his father gave him a big fossil of a dinosaur footprint. He gave it to him to remind him that before we die, we are all given an opportunity to make a difference or leave our footprint. And with help from God and determination, you can change the world too. And maybe, just maybe, someone will give a speech about you someday, how you have left your footprint. So, be your name, Buxton, or Bixby, or Bray, or Mordecai Alley, Van Allen O'Shea. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way.